lesson we're going to be doing, actually I'm not going to tell you what it is, we'll just do it and you'll see. But go ahead and lie on your back. Start to feel your contact with the floor. And start to bring your awareness to how you are today. What does that mean to you, or how do you tell that? What is there about lying on the floor that lets you sense yourself in a different way? And if you need, grab a folded up towel to put under your head, if that makes you more comfortable. You remember that this is your lesson. The instructions are not orders, they're just the instructions of the lessons. So you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. How do you sense your breathing here? And how do you come home to yourself? What does that mean to you? Notice where your attention goes when you scan yourself. Feel the contact of your spine with the floor. So maybe notice your tailbone, how it rests on the floor. And then follow up your spine to your lower back, your mid back. Feel the place in between your shoulder blades, the base of your neck. What's the curve of your neck like today? And sense where the back of your head meets the floor. You can imagine like your skull is the top vertebra of your spine. And feel how your pelvis rests on the floor. Which hip feels heavier? Notice your shoulder blades, which shoulder lies flatter on the floor. Or just how do you tell the difference between one shoulder blade and the other? My language doesn't have to fit for you. So now bend your knees, stand your feet. And cross your right leg over your left so that your knees are together, more or less. However, whatever approximation of that works for you. And then begin this simple movement of tilting the legs to the right, just towards the floor a little bit, and back. And you just do a little bit, so you go slow, like you're moving through honey or molasses. Yeah, the right leg crossed over the left, and you're just tilting to the right and back. So your knees are crossed, your knees are together. And do less. Make the movement half that size. And go even slower. So you'll feel that gravity starts to pull on the legs, right? But you don't just let them drop. And you don't go all the way. You just go a little bit and then bring them back to center. And any of the lesson you can do in your imagination, if that feels nicer to you. And notice how you breathe as you do this. Do you hold your breath? Do you tilt the knees as you inhale, as you exhale? What's your way of doing it? And then a few times tilt the knees as you exhale. See, does that make a difference? And then you breathe in as your knees come back to the middle. And you pause in between each movement. It's not a repetitive sort of thing. It's not like doing reps at the gym. You do it so that each time you tilt the knees is like the first time you've ever done it. How is each iteration different? Feel the left side of your pelvis. Notice how it comes away from the floor a little bit as you tilt the knees. And what happens in your spine? So how does this movement resonate throughout the rest of you? How much of yourself is involved? Feel your left shoulder blade come away from the floor a little bit. What happens in your chest? And what happens to the distance between your chin and your breastbone? And then leave that, uncross your legs, and just rest. Lengthen your legs on the floor. And feel which side of your pelvis lies flatter now. Which hip makes more contact with the floor now. And bend your knees, stand your feet. And let's see. Yeah, everybody else's audio is off. Is there background noise coming from my end? I think it's quiet here. Okay. Let's see. So bend your knees, stand your feet. And play a little bit with the positioning of your feet. So try having your feet a little bit further away from you. See what that's like. A little bit So yeah, try having your feet like super far away from you so they're still bent, your feet are still standing. And then try having your feet super close to your hips. See what that feels like. And come back somewhere, find somewhere in the middle that feels comfortable to you, that feels stable. Maybe like with your, yeah, good. And then put your feet so they're touching and your knees are touching. Feel that. And feel what it's like to have your feet super spread apart. Good. And then you find someplace in the middle that feels comfortable and stable to you. And good. So now bring your arms towards the ceiling so that your arms are long in front of you. Your fingers are pointed towards the ceiling. And place your palms together like you're clapping. Good. And your fingers can be soft. Your elbows don't need to be locked. But your arms are more or less in this triangle. And begin to lift your right shoulder so that your arms tilt a little bit to the left. And you just do a little bit and you come back. And you do this many times, just playing with this idea. Good. Your right shoulder blade comes away from the floor. Your chest turns. Your breastbone turns, goes to the left. And you keep both elbows straight so that the triangle doesn't change shape. So you just do a little bit. So both elbows are long. And you only tilt as much as you can, leaving that shape of the triangle intact. Right? So if the way that you take the arms to the left is by bending the left elbow, you're cheating. It's a great option, but it changes the lesson. That's not what we're looking for here. So you leave both elbows long, which means that the movement has to come from somewhere else, right? That's the purpose of that constraint. So you feel where else can you soften? And it doesn't have to be a big movement. You can move your fingertips 3 inches. The elbows stay long, the palms together. Your hands don't slide. Good, and notice your breathing. So can you do this while you breathe? What's it like if you exhale as you tilt the arms? And inhale as the arms come back to the middle. Good. Leave that, bring your arms down. Rest. Notice which shoulder feels heavier now, which shoulder makes more contact with the floor. And then cross your right leg over your left again, so your knees are together. And do that same move we did before of tilting the legs, tilting the knees to the right. And just see if that's any different. Not doing anything differently, not using any more effort. Just see if somehow what we did with the arms changed the way you tilt the knees, or how easy it is to tilt the knees. It's a funny sort of thing, right? You wouldn't think it was really related. And then switch the legs, so cross the left knee over the right. And tilt the knees to the left. Good, just a little bit. Again, like you're going through molasses. And you feel what's different on this side. You feel, can you breathe? Where can you soften in your throat, in your tongue, behind your eyes, your jaw? There are all of these places, right, that we hold that we don't need to. So try it. You try clenching your jaw and gritting your teeth and furrowing your eyebrows and scrunching up your face and clenching your fists, and then you try to tilt the knees. Good. And then let all that go. And tilt the knees again. Beautiful. Uncross the knees and just stand the feet. And bring your arms together. Bring your arms towards the ceiling with the palms together, like we did before. The elbows long. And you bring the right shoulder blade away from the floor. Begin to tilt the arms, the hands a little bit to the left. Oh, to the right. Sorry. Got my directions mixed up. So the left shoulder blades away from the floor. And it's not about tilting the arms, right? Being able to do this movement will get you absolutely nowhere in life. It's not a functional movement. So it's not about how far you can tilt the arms. It's about how you tilt the arms, or what does this situation, what does this challenge offer you? What can you learn about yourself in this situation? The chest turns. Can you do it as you exhale? And you do this many times, tilting the arms a little bit to the right, bringing them back to the center. Feeling where can you soften? Can you do even less? And then half as much as that. Good. Bring your arms down, cross your, which one are we on? Cross your left leg over your right. And tilt the knees a little bit to the left. See how that is now. You bring your arms down, your arms by your sides. Just tilting a little bit to the left and coming back. And see how that is now. And then uncross your legs, lengthen your legs on the floor, and just rest. Which shoulder feels heavier now? How do your hips lie on the floor? Observe the movement of your low belly. Good. Bend your knees, stand your feet. Cross your left leg over your right. And tilt the knees to the left, like we were doing. Do that once or twice. And then the next time the knees are tilted to the left, leave them there, somewhere where you can stay comfortably for a minute. And then interlace your hands, interlace your fingers, and place your hands behind your head. So between the back of your head and the floor. So your head's resting on your hands. And then begin to bring your elbows towards each other a little bit and use your arms to lift your head. So you look down toward the pelvis. Good. And you come back. You just do what's easy. And I know heads are heavy, but you really see what can you do to make your head lighter. Right? So you have two options. You can hold your breath and clench your teeth and muscle your way through it. Or you can use this as an opportunity to see, what can I do differently? What happens if you let your chest bone slide down towards your pelvis and towards the floor? So your chest flattens, your chest compresses a little bit. And you rest whenever you want to rest. You can do the movement once and decide that's enough for you. You can decide you just want it in your imagination. No justification or rationale necessary. And what happens if you lift your head as you exhale? Go slow. Good. Bring your head down, bring your arms by your sides, across the legs. Just rest for a moment. Cross the right knee over the left. Begin to tilt the knees to the right a little bit. See how that's coming along. Just where it's easy. Right? Because this is the thing. Of course you can do this. Like you've gotten this far in life. You're clearly quite capable of a lot of things. And if there's something that needs to be done, you can figure out a way to do it. But the reason you're here, presumably, is to see, is there a different way to do things? Is there an easier way to do this? So you're tilting the knees to the right. So really feel and really notice. And the next time your knees are tilted to the right, you leave them there. And you interlace your fingers, place your hands behind your head. And with your knees tilted a little bit to the right, you begin to lift your head. So your hands are behind your head. So you're using your arms to lift your head. And you just do a little bit. Do it once and leave it. Just do it in your imagination. And what happens in your ribs? What does your pelvis do as you lift your head? What part of your back presses into the floor? Good. Leave that, uncross your legs. Go ahead and lengthen your legs and just feel your contact with the floor for a moment. Bring your arms down, rest. How do you notice your contact with the floor now? How do you sense your breathing? Good. Bend your knees, stand your feet. And this time, interlace your fingers the non-habitual way. So you interlace them like you normally do, and then you notice which thumb is on top and which pinky finger is on bottom. And you just switch them over one finger so that it feels a little bit fun. Good. And then you place your hands behind your head with your feet standing, your knees bent. And here, see what it's like to lift the head, to look down towards your pelvis. To bring your low back into the floor. And you just do a little bit and you come back down. Can you breathe and lift the head at the same time? What's it like to exhale as you lift the head? Good. Let that go. Bring your arms down by your sides. Lengthen your legs. How does your lower back make contact with the floor? So now bring your arms around like you're hugging yourself. So across your chest, and your hands are on your shoulder somewhere, like you want to reach towards your shoulder blades. You don't have to get there, you just stay with what's comfortable for you. And then bend your knees, stand your feet. And begin to roll your trunk. So you roll your shoulders, your arms, your chest. Going a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. But leave your feet standing. Leave your knees towards the ceiling. So your pelvis stays quiet. Your ribs move, your shoulders move. And again, you just do a little bit. Do half that much. And go even slower. And can you breathe while you do this? Wouldn't that be great if you could breathe and move at the same time? And if you can't, that's okay. But you just notice, or you feel, where can you soften? Where can you do less in order that that might become a possibility? And if it starts to feel easy, you see, can you go a little bit quicker? Just rolling your shoulders and your chest a little, feeling away from the floor. And then silence for a moment. Feel the movement of your belly. Bring your arms around to hug yourself again. And this time, put the opposite arm on top, so you switch the arms over. And again, see what it's like to roll a little bit to one side and there. Oh, sorry. Bend your knees, stand your feet. Good. And you just see, where can it be easy? And what does your head do? Does your head participate in that movement in some way? Not that it's supposed to, or it's supposed to, or it's supposed to do something specific, but just what do you do? And now see, so find a place on the ceiling above you, and feel where the back of your head makes contact with the floor. And then leave your head quiet and continue to roll your chest, your shoulders, your arms. And do less now. Right? We've added another constraint. So this means you have to slow down. You have to figure out a different way to do it. You have to feel what it is you're really doing and what's going on and where can you find freedom within these constraints. Right? We always have constraints in our life. There's always a reality, an external reality around us. But can you still breathe easily? Can you still find freedom within that? And then pause for a moment. And now roll your head with your shoulders. So it's like your nose and your elbows are connected. And they all roll together as one piece. And you feel, even when you intend to roll everything together, which moves first, your nose or your elbows? And which comes back to the middle first? And if you go even slower and do even less, can you make it so that the nose and the elbows are a little bit more together? And continue this rolling. Let's see if you can leave your head in the middle. Beautiful. Good. Leave that. Pause for a moment. Bring your arms down. And wrap your arms around yourself again. Switch which arm's on top. And see now, can you roll your head in the opposite direction? So you look to the right and your shoulders go to the left. And you look to the left and your shoulders go to the right. And go even slower, make it even smaller so you can feel how to coordinate this movement. Even though this is kind of a tricky variation for a lot of people, can you make it just as graceful and just as smooth and just as well timed? And then what happens if you forget all of that, forget about doing it nicely, and just do it sloppily and poorly and playfully? Good. Leave that, pause for a moment. Bring your arms down. And cross your arms around yourself one more time. Whichever way. You can switch them from the last time if you remember. And now roll your head with your shoulders. And start slow, start small. And see how smooth can it be, how well coordinated. Moving the nose with the elbows. So it's like one piece, one idea. And then go quickly. Make it playful. Make it easy. Be silly with it. Good. And then grit your teeth and scrunch your eyebrows and see then how it is to roll. Hold your, clench your toes. Good. Let all that go and just roll easily. Beautiful. Bring your arms down by your sides, lengthen your legs. Feel your contact with the floor. Feel your low abdomen. Good. Feel the contact of your back with the floor. And attending to yourself in this same way, still sensing your breathing. Slowly bend your knees, roll to your side, and slowly roll up to sit. Using your arms to push you up. Slowly come to stand. Your own way, in your own time. But still with your attention on your internal sensations. And once you're in standing, just pause for a moment. Feel your sense of uprightness, your shoulder blades. Slowly come on up to stand. Good. Feel that place in between your shoulder blades. Feel the back of your head, backs of your shoulders, your low abdomen, your breathing. Walk around a little bit. Feel how you breathe as you walk. Your low belly stay soft.